Hi, everyone. It's Lori MacVittie again, Distinguished Engineer and Chief Evangelist at F5. And I'm joined here by my counterpart, Cindy Borovick. Do you want to tell everyone who you are?
Hi, Lori. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited. I'm responsible for our market intelligence at F5, and it is always exciting to talk about state of application strategy.
We do a lot of research, and our State of Application Strategy report this year, one of the things we dug into was really a number of topics that really culminate in this idea of ADC 3.0, right? So, application delivery and security in a more modern sense in a platform. So, what are some of the key things we found out about ADC3 delivery and security, right? They both count.
Well, one of the things, we have been looking into what are the properties that are needed in terms of supporting this next generation of ADCs. One of them is that they need to be deployable anywhere and in any form factor. And we found that, the future is solidly hybrid multi-cloud.
Mhm.
It's been really interesting to watch, right? When we started state of application strategy, everyone said that's it. Every app is going to the public cloud. On premises is dead. Everybody, just do everything you can to make sure your apps are in the public cloud. Now, 11 years later, what we're finding is that in fact, apps have reached and are almost about to reach an equilibrium, if you will, in terms of applications being deployed, organizations saying, hey, what does my app need? I think we found, at least 9 in 10 organizations were making decisions based on what the app needed or the AI workload needed. And then they were deploying that app in a particular location. So, in fact, when you think of all the deployment models or the locations that folks can deploy an app, it's about equal. So some, around 9% have apps at the edge. Another 15% are using SaaS. It's pretty much equal across all of those different types of locations and deployment models.
It's trying to get there, which is really, really dramatic. I remember a few years ago, the on premises component of the app portfolio was at 37%.
Mhm.
So it's right. That piece really is decreasing, even as everything else is increasing, and it is trying to reach this equilibrium across edge, on premises, both traditional and cloud, public cloud, co-location. It's really crazy, and we track this, and that data is in the report. But I want to know. I never said everything was going to the cloud. I distinctly recall saying, no, that's not going to happen. Hybrid is the way. And it turns out that's very solidly true. We've been tracking that. We also track things like, when are modern apps going to be like, right, dominant? When are they ascending to the throne? And it turns out this year that they have ascended. They are now a bigger percentage of the enterprise's portfolio than our traditional applications.
Right. So that's the, 53% now are modern apps. And
Right.
that's
So
of the
that
app portfolio.
property that you mentioned early, that right, delivery and security has to be deployable anywhere. Really means all
Mhm.
of those environments, and also right in the application. So it has to fit inside a modern application, like inside Kubernetes, as well as be able to fit into the architectures of older traditional apps, the vintage apps, retro apps. They're not legacy, vintage. I kind of like that retro.
Vintage apps,
Um,
right.
and
Exactly.
we could talk about this forever because we love this topic, but a lot of the topics we're going to talk about in subsequent videos also fulfill some of those properties. That was one of the purposes in some of the topics that we explored this year, was to see, is this a thing that is actually real and needed, or are we just, we just imagining things? So we found out we weren't imagining things, and we'll dig into those topics in subsequent videos. So, run on over, get the report, and read through it for yourself.